In this video, I'm going to tell you my top 19 undergraduate schools for scholarships based on my visa interview coaching, my mock sessions, I-20 that I've seen, and my research into these schools. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel and also make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos. There are so many videos that are not telling you the truth about studying in the US, and that is why a lot of you spend so many years and still don't get a good scholarship to study in the US. You have to understand that admission to schools in the US is very easy to get, but if you decide to just use admission to apply for the visa, it will be very difficult for you to be approved. Most of the time, scholarships help so much because a scholarship it's not just financial support, it also shows that the school believes in you and the school wants you to come. And that is why if you have a good scholarship, it is very easy for you to be approved. The goal is always to try to get a good scholarship before you apply for the visa. Many students have asked me about full scholarship universities that they can apply to for their bachelor's degree. Now, I want you to understand that unlike graduate studies where a GPA of 3.1 can get you a full scholarship, with undergraduate studies, the best thing for you to do to get a full or near full scholarship is to take the SAT or have a near excellent WASSCE result. If your WASSCE result is very good or if you have a good SAT score, then that will give you a good scholarship. Most undergraduate schools will tell you don't need SAT to apply to the schools and all of that, but that is a trap because if you apply, they will give you admission, but you are not going to get any scholarship. If you really want a good scholarship, a scholarship that is about 80%, 70%, or 90% of your cost of attendance, you have to take the SAT or you have to have a good WASSCE result, like at least 5 A's. If that's not the case, please take the SAT or the ACT. Don't let anyone deceive you. If it's so easy for you to apply with your high school transcript without the SAT or the WASSCE and you can get full scholarship, everybody will be in the US. It's very simple, right? So scholarships are reserved for intelligent students or geniuses, and you have to show that you are one of them, which will be reflected in your SAT and then the essays that you submit. All of these that you submit together will be used to determine whether you deserve a full scholarship or not. Graduate students get what we call an assistantship, where you work for the school. So you are working for the school and they are paying you. But with undergraduate students, you are not coming to work for anybody. So they give you that scholarship because they think you are very intelligent, and you are only intelligent if you have a good SAT score, you submit a good essay, or you have a good WASSCE result. I never say never, but it is just so difficult for any school to give you a full scholarship just because you submitted your high school transcripts. You always have to make sure either your WASSCE result is really good or you have a good SAT or ACT scores. Now let's look at the schools.
Miami University in Oxford, Ohio is the first university I recommend to you for your undergraduate studies. They have an acceptance rate of 87.9%, which means that if 100 people apply to the school, about 88 of them will be admitted. Now, there are more than 1,100 international students from nearly 100 countries. I am recommending this school because in my visa interview coaching sessions, I came across somebody with a good I-20 from Miami University. Now, what I even like about this school is the fact that the person didn't submit the SAT, but the person had a good GPA from high school transcript and a WASSCE result, which is really good. Now, when I say really good, I mean really good. His WASSCE result was 7 A's and 1 B. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you have to have either a good SAT score or a good WASSCE result for you to get a good scholarship to study in the US. And so, yeah, you can clearly see that WASSCE result was the big difference. This is what people don't tell you. It's not just about admission, but also how to get a good scholarship. And that usually depends on your WASSCE result, the SAT, and then the good essay that you submit. So what they are saying is that you can use the Miami application or you can use the Common App to apply. And in terms of the requirements, they have an application fee of $75, but then they have something called Miami fee waiver, which means that if you apply before December 1st, your application fee will be waived for you. And also they require academic records, which is, your WASSCE and stuff. So you can see WASSCE here. And also they require English proficiency test depending on the country that you're applying from, a copy of your passport, and then financial estimate form. So basically these are just the application requirements. It's very flexible, it's very, very flexible. Now in terms of scholarships, what they are saying is that to be considered for a scholarship, student must complete their application, including transcript and recommendation by the priority deadline, and it meets the minimum academic criteria. No separate scholarship application is necessary to be considered for the awards listed in the following table. So what they are saying is that they have all kinds of scholarships, and these ones are based on your GPA GPA. Now they are saying that they use the weighted GPA on a student transcript. So when you submit your high school transcripts, they are going to recalculate your GPA to be equivalent to what they want. And then also they are saying scholarships are renewable for up to 4 years. So yeah, basically this is really good, and they are saying that Miami calculates an equivalent US GPA on a 4.0 scale. So yeah, I think this one is based on other countries, so out of 5, but then they will calculate it to 4.0 scale. Like I said, I am recommending this school because I know somebody with a good offer from Miami University in my coaching sessions, and the person got a full tuition scholarship, and also most of his living expenses were covered by the school. Wesleyan University has an acceptance rate of about 88%. Now I'm recommending this school because I know someone who got a good offer from Wesleyan University. The person didn't submit the SAT, but the person submitted a good transcript, and I think the person also did evaluation. Now when we check the requirements, they are saying that you need to submit an online application and also your high school transcripts, and also admissions essay or your SAT ACT scores. What this means is that either your admissions essay is very good or your SAT ACT scores are very good. Most schools will just go with the SAT ACT, but I mean here they are saying that if you write an essay that is really convincing, then that can substitute for the ACT SAT. So this is really good, and they are saying that you should feel free to include letters of recommendation with your application. These letters are not required. You can check Wesleyan University. This is a university that I highly recommend just because of the flexible requirements and the good offers that they give to international students. If you don't have the SAT ACT, then you can submit an English proficiency test, and here when you scroll down they are saying it will be waived for you if you meet any of the following conditions, and one of them is that applicants who come from one of the US government English proficiency test exempt countries. Now when we check this list, we will find the countries. Now here we can scroll down to see the countries, and here it says Mauritania, Mauritius, Namibia, Nigeria, Botswana, Sierra Leone, Ghana, like Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Liberia, Zambia. So like all these countries, you don't have to submit an English proficiency test. College of St Scholastica is the next university that I recommend to you for your undergraduate studies in the US. They have an acceptance rate of 97%. I have had a few students going there with really good offers. When we check the requirements, they require you to complete the application and also submit your high school transcript. And they have optional application items, which are ACT or SAT and essay, and then official college transcript, if any. Note that if you want to be considered for a good scholarship, you have to submit the SAT or ACT. Also, sometimes a good essay can take care of that, but always the best way to get a good scholarship to study in the US is to have the SAT or ACT. What they are saying is that before applying, you have to check every program to check for their prerequisites, requirements, and all of that. Now, if you're an international student, this is how you can finance your education. So this is the cost of education. Estimated cost is about $58,000. They require an enrollment deposit of $500. But I mean, if you have a good offer from them, then paying this is not a big deal because you know that your visa will be approved. If you have a good offer, your visa will be approved, more likely. And so they are saying that they award merit-based scholarship funds to students based on the evaluation of the application and accompanying materials. So they look at your high school transcripts, your grades, and cumulative GPAs. Okay, that's good. And they are saying that these are the kind of scholarships that they offer. So like the cost of attendance is $58,000 and the highest scholarship here is $28,000. So that's over half of the cost of attendance. And this is good because it will help you get your visa approved. It's not up to 100%. The fourth university that I recommend to you for your bachelor's degree in the US is St University. They have an acceptance rate of 93.8%. I am recommending this school because I coach someone who is going to study his bachelor's degree in biology. He was given a really good offer. He got $72,000 out of $79,000 of his cost of attendance, which means that his tuition was fully covered and most of his living expenses were also covered. He submitted his WASSCE results of 4 A's and 4 B's, and he had an SAT score of 1560. Now, like I said, SAT scores make a big difference. If you really want to get something close to 100% scholarship, then you need to make sure you submit a good SAT score. So this is something that you should keep in mind. People will not tell you this, but this is the reality. Now, when we check the scholarship page, what they are saying is that they have all kinds of scholarships: merit-based, talent, service, testing-based, study abroad, outside. And they are saying that 96% of students are given testing grants and scholarships. So it means almost everybody gets some form of scholarship. They have the presidential scholarship, which is
up to $35,000. They have the Dean Scholarship, which is up to $29,000. They have the Faculty Merit Scholarship, which is up to $26,000. So Stetson is another university that you have to apply to. Now, they give scholarships to most of their students because most of their students submit a good SAT score. That's something you should keep in mind. So don't just pay attention to the acceptance rate because they have a strict requirement, which is the SAT. And so that is something that you have to keep in mind. Now, in terms of the application for international students, they are saying that you need to submit official transcripts, so from your high school, and then you have to do evaluation. And somebody told me that they will give you a code for you to evaluate your transcript for free, on Scholarity. So that's something I think you may have to ask for it. So they have a writing sample, which is optional. If you want, you can submit it, but if you want a good scholarship, all these things are very, very important. And they also have English proficiency, so that's another requirement. Now, when we check the application page, we didn't see the testing, right? But they are saying that for you to get this merit-based scholarship, you need to submit, either an SAT or ACT. The fifth US university I recommend for your undergraduate studies is Fisk University, and they have an acceptance rate of 71%. The reason I'm recommending this school is because I coached a student who was approved on May 31st, and the school gave him 90% of his cost of attendance, which means that out of his cost of attendance of $40,000, the school gave him almost $36,000. And which means he's not going to pay any tuition. All he has to think about is just a small portion of his living expenses. Note that he submitted good essays and he submitted an SAT score of 1550, 1550. This is very important. The higher your SAT score, the more likely you are going to get a good scholarship. This is something you have to keep in mind. When we check the school's page, they are saying that they offer merit-based scholarships to help academically talented students cover the cost of their education as university resources permit. In addition to a competitive academic record, students interested in merit-based scholarships should also present a record of demonstrated leadership and community service. Scholarships are not guaranteed and there is no separate application. Students are evaluated on the strength of their admission application in comparison against the applicant pool. Priority scholarship consideration occurs during the early action cycles. Basically, what they are saying is that first you have to apply very early. Also, you don't have to apply for the scholarship separately from the admission, right? It's part of it, and you are evaluated based on your academic record, and academic record here includes a high SAT score. Now, when we check their requirement, what they are saying is that they require you to complete an application and then submit official SAT, ACT test scores. Now, here they are saying that we do not require the SAT or ACT test scores, but students may submit their scores to be reviewed with their application. Scores are required to be considered for some of our top scholarships. This is very important. This is what some people will not tell you. The sixth US university I recommend for your undergraduate studies is St Louis University. Now, they have an acceptance rate of 85%. I know someone who is going there to study a bachelor's degree program and had a good offer, and that is why I am recommending this school. Now, when you check their undergraduate scholarships, they are saying that St. Louis University offers undergraduate scholarships that recognize, among other areas, academic accomplishment, service involvement, and leadership capability. Depending on your major, there may be additional scholarship opportunities offered by your program or department. So this is another school that I want to recommend to you, and what they are saying is that they have merit-based scholarships, and so they award it to incoming freshmen, so first-year students. And they have the presidential scholarship. Now, this presidential scholarship, what they are saying is that it's a 4-year award for exemplary student leaders. This competitive award covers the full cost of tuition for 10 consecutive full-time, up to 18 credit hours, fall and spring semesters. And to be eligible, you need to submit a high school GPA of 3.85 or higher, and also you need to submit a scholarship essay. So, and they have so many scholarships that you can actually look at. Now, in terms of their requirements, as an international student, when we scroll down, they require you to complete an application. They require you to send your academic records, so your high school transcripts and maybe WASI results and all of that. You also have to submit your English proficiency depending on your country and all of that. You may consider submitting recommendation letters. What they are saying is that this is not required for admission, but then it is highly encouraged. Highly encouraged means that if you want to be considered for the best scholarships, you have to submit it. This is how it works. So this is another university that I want you to consider, because like I said, I have seen good offers from this school as well. The next university I recommend to you for your bachelor's degree in the US is
Oglethorpe University, and they have an acceptance rate of 81.3%. In general, the application requirements are to submit the application and then your high school transcripts and then also the SAT, ACT. Now here they are saying that it is optional, but like I always say, if you want a good scholarship, you have to submit a good SAT, ACT scores. Also, you might go through an interview, but they are saying this is optional. And then letters of recommendation, this is also optional. And they have the early deadline. Early deadline comes with, the application fee, which is $50 going to be waived for you. So if you submit your application by December 1st, your application fee will be waived for you. And also what they are saying is that if you submit your application early, you're going to be eligible for full tuition scholarships. So they are saying that all international students are automatically evaluated for merit-based scholarships starting at $19,000 per year. Now, when you see automatically evaluated, it doesn't mean you are going to be given the scholarship automatically. No. It comes with a lot of things. You might get admission without scholarship. You might get admission with a small scholarship and all of that. If you want a good scholarship, you have to submit a competitive application material. What they are saying is that 90% of their students receive merit scholarships. 99% receive some form of financial aid. And so, yeah, they have all kinds of scholarships and all of that they give to students. So make sure you check the requirements and also meet all of that. And even if they say something is optional, if possible, try and submit that to give you a better chance for admission and full scholarship. It's Ghana University, and they have an acceptance rate of 80.8%. As of April 2024, Ghana University had 512 international students across its 2 campuses. I am recommending this school because I've seen an I-20 from somebody who is going to study a program where the person was given a regional award of 58% of their cost of attendance. I mean, this is not the best, but it kind of shows that if you submit a more competitive application, you can actually get something better. We can check their scholarship page, and what they are saying is that Ghana University has a wide variety of merit-based, need-based, and athletic financial awards. So they have all kinds of scholarships, and the higher your SAT, ACT scores, the more likely you are going to get a good scholarship. That's just how it works for undergraduate students. In terms of their admissions, what they are saying is that you have to submit, an application, and there are various ways you can do that. And also, you need to submit high school transcripts and official SAT, ACT scores. They are saying that if these scores are on your high school transcript, you do not need to submit them separately. So what they are saying is that while test scores will not be used to determine admission, students who do not have SAT, ACT scores are encouraged to submit them to potentially be considered for additional scholarship dollars. Ghana's scholarship model allows for merit awards to be offered without test scores, but in some cases, test scores may increase the value of the merit award. So if you want a good scholarship, you have to consider taking the SAT or ACT. And also what they are saying that they require a personal statement and letters of recommendation. The 9th US university I recommend to you for your bachelor's degree is North Carolina Wesleyan University. They have an acceptance rate of 68%. They are located in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and they have over 170 international students from more than 40 countries. Now, when you check their scholarship page, what they are saying is that they have meritorious level scholarships for incoming fresh students. And what they are saying is that if you want the Founders Award, you have to make sure your GPA is at least 3.75 and you have a SAT score of at least 1200 or ACT of 25. For the Founders Award, the scholarship is up to full tuition, and then your room will be taken care of, your board and your books will all be taken care of, which means all you have to take care of is probably your food. So yeah, depending on what you submit, these are the offers that they have for you. And they have all kinds of scholarship, and if you prepare yourself very well, you're going to get something good to come to the US to do your bachelor's degree. So here we can check where most of their students come from. And if you check this map here, so this is South Africa. They have students from South Africa. They have students from Nigeria. They don't have any students from Ghana, but they have students from Mali. This map tells us where most of their students come from. So Kenya and all of that. So, and then India, Sri Lanka actually, and then Nepal. So they have students from all these countries. And one thing students have to note is that if you are from Nepal and then there is a school where there are a lot of Indians, it means if you apply, you have a good chance. If you are a Ghanaian and then there is a school where there are a lot of Nigerians, if you apply, you have a good chance. If you are a Kenyan and then you see a school where there are a lot of Ghanaians, if you apply, you have a good chance. The 10th US university I recommend to you for your bachelor's degree is Livingston College at Salisbury, and they have an acceptance rate of 51%. On my YouTube channel, I had a mock session with a student called Milton, and he's going there to study his bachelor's degree in computer science. He got a presidential scholarship that covered his cost of attendance. According to him, the presidential scholarship is awarded to students with a high school GPA of 3.7. He also had a SAT score of 1440, although it wasn't required. You have to understand that his scholarship was based on his high SAT score. This is just how it works. Another thing is that he also evaluated his transcript before he submitted his application to the school. And this tells us that if you really want to study in the US, you have to spend some money and you have to spend some time and submit a good application. For the sake of not wanting this video to be too long, I will continue with the remaining schools in my next video. Take care of yourselves and consider subscribing to the channel.